Hi guys and welcome to the match review for the Carabao Cup tie of Manchester United versus Manchester City. Oh, 2-0 we lost. Um, Not a lot to talk about. We won't be here for a while. I mean, I'm happy to be joined with Noah and United Paper. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, doing okay. I mean, obviously, tonight's result really was really painful. I mean, we've been really flying high on these shows as of late because United have been playing so well and picking up so many good performances. But tonight was potentially back to reality. But yeah, apart from that, good, ready to go for tonight, and yeah, hopefully have a good show. So good
Yeah,
to go.
Yeah,
I
Paper
agree.
United. Thanks for joining as well. And also, just before we get into it, I want to say thanks, guys, obviously for tuning in at the moment. I know we've got over 100 viewers at the moment. If you are watching on Twitter, which most of you guys probably are, please follow us or go on to YouTube. I mean, it's all over our page, all over my page as well. United Speaks. The YouTube page, we're trying to grow, bring in genuine United fans, and just get talking. So, I mean, from this, I just want to know basically what went wrong. I mean, I'm going to start off with the lineup. United Paper, obviously. I mean, personally, I wasn't too happy the fact Bailly didn't start. What about you? What was your views about the lineup going forward?
First thing, everyone like, share, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. Um, yeah, like if I'm honest with you, I was pretty happy with the lineup. I did want Bai to start, but I do think it was half sensible to rest him because we have seen how frail he has been, and I could just see like another Pogba scenario. Not it was a big game, so you could argue he should start his best lineup, but I don't know what you guys thought, but I wasn't really that disappointed with the performance. I just thought we was outplayed tonight. Really, I don't think we played that bad. I don't. No one really stood out that badly to me. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know. I just thought I think that we just got beat by the better team tonight. I think anyway.
Yeah, no, I'd quite like to hear your views because I mean, just before we started, we obviously kind of had a wee talk about the fact that Bailly didn't start, and I knew you weren't happy about it. So I'd obviously just quite like to hear kind of you going in depth about it because I know you do like Bailly and you think he should have started over Lindelof.
Yeah, I mean, it as United Paper said, tonight was a huge game, probably one of the biggest games of the season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and really for if Solskjaer wants to win some silver and get past this semi-final curse, as we've obviously experienced again tonight, he should be picking his strongest lineup. And I feel for me, whilst Lindelof isn't the worst centre back in the world, I do think he's quite a good centre back. The partnership of Bailly and Maguire in recent games has been phenomenal. We've been conceding very little goals, and it's allowed like our midfielders such as McTominay and Fred, who usually have to sit quite deep and protect the back four, to like have a bit more freedom and like express themselves a bit more. We saw that against Aston Villa. We saw that against Leeds in the 6-2 victory, and many others recent games where we've played fluid and brilliant attacking football. But because obviously, and Man City are a good side. I'm not going to completely say that it all was United's fault because yeah, Man City are a good team. I think they've conceded 3 goals in their past 11 matches. And their attack was obviously brilliant tonight. They really the pressing game they played was superb, and then you do have to give credit to that. But yeah, the lineup wasn't. It was more to do with Bailly not being in because not only what he brings to Maguire, but also what he allows the midfielders to do. And I think we were too. Again, I do agree that it wasn't like a terrible performance, but the fact that the midfielders weren't allowed to be as free flowing as they have done in the past few games really just like made it so like players such as Bruno Fernandes and Martial were really just kind of stuck in between Manchester City's midfielders such as Fernandinho and yeah. Well, I mean, as someone has commented, Martial wasn't the best. I don't really think that Martial wasn't the best because of him not playing well. I think he had just like a real lack of service, and that obviously comes from the back and not being able to like spread the ball wide and everything. But yeah, it wasn't a great performance overall, and I wasn't particularly happy with Eric Bailly in particular not being in the starting lineup. So that's my kind of real thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think he was very unfortunate to not actually make the starting 11. And I mean, Lindelof, I'm not Lindelof's biggest fan. I don't think he brings a lot to our game. I buy he does, to be honest. But I mean, I've said in previous podcasts, I feel as if Bailly just can't stay fit, and maybe that was the case. We rest him today. Then I mean, I suppose we've got Watford though on Saturday. Maybe he sits out that as well. Maybe comes back for the game midweek against Burnley. I mean, that's such an important game for us because I mean, you need to remember, guys. Manchester City are only 1 point behind us if they win their games, which they probably will. They're on form. So, I mean, people seem to think it's between Manchester United and Liverpool at the moment. Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think City have gone a bit under the radar, and it's gone a bit quiet, and they've started to tick, haven't they?
Yeah, a lot of
shout out to FPL Techers. Thanks for the contribution in the obviously chat. But I do like Cavani, but don't you think it highlights where this team's at? That I do like him, but doesn't it show you that we've got problems if we're missing a 34-year-old striker? Or not? Am I being harsh?
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible because we don't have like a free flowing striker who you think if he gets the ball into his feet, he's going to score. Apart from Cavani, who we really weren't meant to sign. We were meant to sign on the last day of the season. We could have signed him 18 months in between that 18-month period. We didn't sign him. And you look elsewhere now. Now it also looks as if we're relying on him. And I mean, yes, I like Cavani. He probably shouldn't have got that ban, but do you phase him in midweek against Manchester City? I don't know. I mean, I would have liked to have obviously seen him, but
the more I think about it, the more I do actually agree with both of you. This was probably, I know it is only the Carabao Cup, but we're not going to turn it down, are we? And this probably was our biggest chance of silverware this season. I'd say, as it stands, I know you could argue we're in a title race, etc. But Europa, we struggled in last year. I don't know. It was a strong team though. He didn't back away, and it was a strong starting lineup. So I was happy that he went for it, but I just wish that in the second half of the game he just made some rotation and just thought let's go for this, let's do it. He's late with the subs again, and I just thought bringing Donny on for 3 minutes. I just thought it's a bit of a I felt sorry for him, really.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. I mean, he's played the previous Carabao Cup ties, and you think, what has the guy actually done wrong to come on in the last couple of minutes? Like, what was he meant to do in that time?
Yeah, I agree.
There was absolutely nothing going on. And I mean, Jordan, who usually comes on and with you guys, he said that, I mean, that's another loss. I'm sure that's 4 semi-final losses.
It's 4 in a row. Yeah, four semi-final losses in the past 2 years, and that's what I was going to say. That's the biggest problem for me. It's not the fact that we could have won the Carabao Cup, because at the end of the day, whilst the Carabao Cup is a trophy, it's like the English Cup. It's not it's not comparable to Europa League, Champions League, or the Premier League. But just to get over that hill of getting knocked out of the semi-finals again and again and again, this loss tonight is going to probably, in my opinion, take a huge toll on the mentality of these players and their belief of actually thinking we can get to a final of a competition, or get to late April and early May in the Premier League and actually potentially challenge for the league, because they've got so close 4 times in getting to a final and being that close to silverware, and they've crumbled every time. So this is, I feel like this could potentially have a domino effect on the rest of the season really badly.
Yeah, I was quite frustrated, obviously, watching the game and thinking, I mean, I was quite confident going into the game. I mean, we've been good recently. I know we haven't played City, and like obviously in this competition, it's very different. I know a lot of you guys, I think we spoke about this a couple of times, that really, as this competition, should we focus on this, or should we focus on other competitions? I mean, with the rest, I think Christmas period is always going to be busy, and the midweek against Manchester City, yes, rest a few guys, bring in Henderson, play him. I quite like to talk about Henderson as well, but I mean, you think the rotation, the guys should be playing. They should be able to hold their own, especially your players like Lindelof, who has been in the starting 11 for most of the season, and he was pretty poor, along with Wan-Bissaka. He was absolutely terrible today as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I've been saying this on plenty of shows recently. Like, you know, the problem with Manchester United's squad is it's still, you know, it's when all the players are there, it's a fantastic starting 11. I'd say our starting 11 when we've got all the players there is one of the best in the Premier League. But when you take out a few key players like Bailly, like Cavani, you see the loopholes, and the thing is, for me, particularly concerning Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka, as you mentioned, Robbie, is, you know, these players, apart from Lindelof with Bailly, but like the thing is, Bailly is not consistent enough to play, and Lindelof and Solskjaer knows this, and Lindelof knows that if Bailly gets injured, which could easily happen again this season, he knows that his position is secured and that he's not going to have any competition from anyone pushing him. See, example, how Telles has come in this season and has really put pressure on Luke Shaw, and Luke Shaw's performing. I thought he was one of our best players tonight.
I agree. I think Shaw's been good for the last 5 or 6 weeks.
But like one of the big things that I believe it's down to is the fact that he knows if he has a slip up in 1 or 2 games, he's getting dropped, and Alex Telles is coming straight into the team. With Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, say example, if Bailly's injured, they know that regardless of what performance they put in, they know they're going to start, and that's why I think, you know,
I think we take it for granted as well. Like, I know it's easy to forget, but there's a good rotation there between Telles and Shaw, and they're both having a good amount of rest, and I think they both look pretty fresh, to be honest. And I think it's helping Shaw, because I don't think Shaw is he gets injured. He does get injured quite often, and I think coming off at 60th, 70th minute is helping him like play better. Yeah, and you know, and the saying always goes is that competition is healthy, you know, for teams that want to win things, and you know, and for me, like with Man United, you know, obviously being in January window, and Solskjaer and the board can respond to losses like these and make some adjustments to the team. I would say the biggest 2 areas that I'd like to see them strengthen is to get a quality right back up, not spend anything ridiculous, maybe 15-20 million pounds, like a Max Aarons or a Derek Lamptey from Brighton. He's also a very good option. You know, to really push Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so he feels that if he has a poor performance, he knows he's going to get dropped, and you know, someone like Max Aarons or Lamptey is going to come straight into the starting lineup. Same thing with Lindelof. You know, if Bailly, who's one of our best centre backs at the club, gets injured, and it's really likely, I don't think, you know, United will be able to challenge for the league or win any serious competition like the Europa League with Maguire and Lindelof at the back, because they're too inconsistent, as we saw tonight. There's not good, because they're 2 very similar centre backs. They're both very, you know, they're not the quickest. They cancel each other out, don't they? Yes, because they're both 2 ball playing centre backs, and I feel like that doesn't really work. So you know, United do need someone like, obviously it would be very difficult to get him in, but someone like a Upamecano, who brings such pace and such strength to the team that would complement Maguire so well. And obviously we do have that in Bailly, but are we going to really have to rely on someone that gets injured every week? It seems like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you look at FPL takers. Thanks for getting involved, guys. Obviously, we're holding quite a lot of viewers. You guys are getting involved. You keep the messages coming in. Keep liking, subscribing.
Yeah, share, guys. Make sure you subscribe the video. We appreciate all your support.
Yep. And we need to talk about this point. I mean, we're going to move on. I see the comment section just now. We're talking about Bruno. We're talking about Martial. We'll start off in defence. We'll start off with Maguire. And, I mean, personally, I don't agree with this. You need to phase out Maguire. Forget about the fee. Nor compete with him there at the back. I mean, I'll start you guys off. Obviously, it's quite a difficult one. We paid £80 million for him from Leicester City to be our captain. I mean, I think he's the best defender we have. People seem to forget about this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really do. I think it's the best defensively we have been for 6 or 7 years. I really like. I know he's not perfect, and he isn't worth the 80 mil price tag, but he's solidified our defence so much. We take for granted how much better our defence is compared to the days of Jones and Smalling. What were only a few years ago. People have such short memories of how bad defensively we was. At least there is a defence there of such. And like, I still like we all year. Like, I know we have conceded goals, but we've always been in the game. Like I know the Tottenham game was not that, but I don't think we're that bad. I think we're one of the best defences in the league. I really do. I don't think we are the best, but I think we're certainly in the top 3 or 4.
No, I think people overreact, and especially with Maguire. Everyone hates Maguire.
Yeah.
And you look elsewhere, Lindelof gets away with it. Very poor, to be honest. For me, anyway, I don't think he brings much to the team. And then Bailly, I mean, I spoke about that in the last podcast that I done with bits and bobs, and I mean, Bailly's always injured. His legs are like glass. There's absolutely no point of giving him a run of games. When the new centre back in, it's completely pointless. But yeah, I don't think there's a point of slagging Maguire, no.
Yeah, no. One point to make with Maguire is, yes, he does have issues. You know, he's not the fastest centre back in the world, and he's not someone that lunges into challenges like Bailly. But you know, we saw with Manchester City today, who statistically wise have the best defense at the moment in the Premier League. They have Ruben Diaz and John Stones at the back.
Ruben Diaz is great.
Yeah, but the one thing you see is that whilst both centre backs individually have their contingencies, you know, Ruben Diaz isn't the fastest centre back, and he doesn't particularly like lunge into challenges. He has someone who complements him so well, and John Stones, and they both have a partnership where they know their strengths and weaknesses, and they play to that. And with United, with Maguire and Lindelof, when you have that, you know, with them both being too similar, they kind of don't look like they're playing together and look like they're playing just focusing on their own performance and their own individual way of playing. And, you know, for United to have success of winning, you know, cup competitions like the Europa League and the Premier League, that's not going to work. You know, so I don't know about you guys, but that's just how I see it for me. You know, United need a partnership and a consistent partnership. Obviously, the dream would be that Eric Bailly can stay fit, but I don't think we can rely on him because of his injury record. So
no, we can't.
For me, it's either, you know, United have to bring someone in from the academy like Tiedemann Mengi, which is a huge risk, and I really wouldn't want Solskjaer to put all that pressure on someone like Mengi, because whilst he's a great player, you know, to put all that pressure on someone so young would be unnecessary. And you know, to go with Bailly, it's like, yeah, it might be great for the next month or so, but then if you don't sign anyone in January, he gets injured in Feb, what do? Your season's, you know, ruined.
I don't know. I like to think that I'm quite realist about this. I still think people underestimate how much of a bad state we was in when Ollie took over us. And I think we're coming out of the tunnel, but I still think there's a lot of issues with the squad. And when Ollie took over, 90% of the fan base were all pretty much united in saying that it's going to be a rebuild, it's going to take a few years, let's back him. But then after a year or so, everyone just started to turn on him. And I
completely agree.
I totally understand the club on not wanting, like they're saying that, like the transfer news from reliable journalists, that they don't want to invest any more money in centre backs until they get some off the books. And I totally get that. Look at the amount of money what's been wasted on average centre backs who we have just sitting there not doing anything. Like we got Jones on 140 grand. I think Rojo's on 80. I know Bailly's been good the last 4 games, but if you take away the last like few weeks, the board would probably think this is a disaster. And I don't know.
They still need a centre back in January. I mean, definitely. I think we can all agree on that. And I mean, I'll be happy. No, I'm pretty sure you will be as well, to join Paper United for the possible transfer talk series that we're starting soon. I mean, there hasn't been much going on just now. We'll be uploading one at Max Allen.
Yeah, no, make sure you follow the page, guys. Turn notifications on. We do have some interviews coming up. We're going to keep them tight-lipped for the time being, but definitely check it out. Me and Noah will be producing some interviews and content for you guys. At the minute, it is pretty quiet, but as soon as news has come out, we will try to give you guys the news as soon as possible. What do you guys actually think went wrong tonight? Do you think it was the selection, the lineup? Do you think City were the better team? Me personally, I think the team was good enough to beat City. We just didn't look at the races. To me, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm going to move on to this point. Actually, I'm going to find the message, and to be honest, it kind of sums up what we've been recently, and I believe that whenever we've
Great
got
comment,
Martial up
actually.
front, he's useless, completely useless. Yes, he did score in the 1-0 win recently, but you need to look elsewhere and you need to think, what is he actually bringing to the team? And I mean, the way that we play, we need more than just a striker who's going to stand up there and stroll about and look good.
See,
I mean,
I didn't want to be offensive to Martial or Cavani, but this was the point I was trying to make, where people, the fan base, are calling for a 34-year-old striker to come back, and I'm like, me personally, I think Martial's best position is on the left wing, where he's been the last few years. I don't think he's good enough to lead the attack. I know that's controversial because the fan base is so split, but for me, I think we look better with Cavani up front, and if we could get a good young number 9 like a Haaland or something, I think would be deadly.
Yeah, no, I mean, with that point, the thing is with Martial up front is that I think when he's playing against a weaker defense than United, say, example, when he's playing against someone like maybe Aston Villa or Leeds or Burnley, maybe next week, something like that, I think he's great because United can attack those teams with their pace on the wide with, like, say example, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and his hold up play for that is excellent. And I think that's something that United do need for those when we're trying to break down a team. But when you're playing against a top team like Manchester City tonight, who are like attacking you and pressing you back, United will tend to sit back and hit them on the break.
They kept him quiet, didn't they? He was quiet all night.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, but like in those instances, you're going to get very few chances, and you need a clinical striker to make something out of nothing. Make a run, like when the players are looking to put a cross into the box. Make a run when you're on the counter attack. But Martial, he was poor. There was no running tonight. There was no killer instinct like Cavani has. But as you say, to the fact that we're having to say like, oh, I want Cavani back, having to rely on a 34-year-old striker who wasn't even in our plans in the summer is poor. And it just shows, yes, I do agree we do need a centre-back, and I do think that is our priority. But for me in the summer, I don't think there's talk of Jadon Sancho in the summer and things like that. I don't think that's our problem. I think we need a top-class number 9 that's going to guarantee you 20 goals a season, because United don't have that. For all the people that want to say Martial can do that, do United really want to be saying, oh, he could do this, we could do that, or do you want to get someone like Haaland, or even if you want to go big and get someone like Harry Kane, who that's what they're going to do. They're going to get 20 goals a season because that's their job and that's their only job. And I think United need to do that, otherwise they're not going to beat teams like this, like consistently. They're not going to do it, and I think that was the big problem tonight, really.
Yeah, I think you look everywhere else, and I mean, I'm going through some comments here and reading them, and I think some people like in the comments, and I mean, thanks obviously guys for sharing your views, but I can't agree with any of them. I mean, some of them are just
everyone's.
I mean, go back to this one, like why call out someone like Bruno? Really,
Bruno was not. I mean,
he does shoot in areas and goes for the wonder balls, but no one else does that. No one else is willing to
exactly. I don't understand. I don't understand when people say, "Oh, Bruno's poor because he's taking shots from outside the box. He's looking for like ridiculous through balls." Okay, so do you want Fred and McTominay to sit around just passing it sideways? That's not who Manchester United are. Manchester United are a team that want to impose their will on someone and impose their skill and their power and their presence, and that's what Bruno Fernandes does. He is Manchester United's talismanic force that drives the team forward and creates those chances. But
I don't want to dwell on other teams, but I just think it just shows what the whole internet and social media is. So, like, if you Trent, for example, we all know he lost the ball 38 times the other night, but deep down, everyone knows this guy is a player, and anyone would take him in their team. And this is the kind of rubbish what we get with Bruno. The way I see it is higher risk, higher reward. We know he's going to give the ball away and there's going to be mistakes. But if you look back the other week, that last minute ball to Rashford against Wolves, 90th minute, he had a poor game all game, but then that's all it takes is one thing, and we got 3 points, and then he's hailed as a saviour. I
Yeah,
I don't
Bruno's
get the slander towards the players. I really don't. I think they've been really good for the last few months. They really have.
yeah, Bruno's been our best player, probably our best player for the last 10 years. That's
Yeah,
maybe
I agree.
No, I agree. I
he's
agree
world class.
completely. Because you think about like where he's come from in the Portuguese league, the impact that he's made. You know, but before he came in, United had just lost 2-0 at home to Burnley. You know, we were an absolute shambles in the midfield. We were creating absolutely nothing. And he
Yeah.
came in, he took us from 7th or 6th or some position like that into 3rd, got us into the Champions League. It was playing such good football. And as you said with the high risk, high reward, that is exactly what Bruno Fernandes is. And very similarly, another player who was like that was Eric Cantona. And you know, you never used to hear people say, "Oh, Eric Cantona was poor." Eric Cantona is like he's doing all these arrogant passes and everything. Like everyone would hail Cantona for doing something like that. So why are you not doing the same for someone like Bruno Fernandes? I don't know. I just think again,
he is the best thing to have happened to this team. He has grabbed this team of weak mentality I thought we had. He's grabbed it by the scruff of the neck. He's dragged these players. He sets the tone. You see him chasing when he loses the ball, he's chasing back.
Yep.
He's telling people what to do, move, shout. You see when Fernandinho took him out and he's calling for a yellow. I love that anger and passion in that team. But he's a player, and ever since we've had him, it was so much a better team. And I think it's that mentality what he's installing around the team. But it's not fair on him to just have to keep doing. If he don't turn up, it's all classed his fault, or it's Maguire's fault. It's ridiculous, really.
Yeah. It's always 3 players' faults. It's always De Gea's, Harry Maguire's,
don't even get me started on De Gea.
and Bruno Fernandes' fault.
Yeah.
And I mean, see, whenever you look elsewhere and you look at the guys' comments just now, obviously, thanks for getting involved, guys. You've given a lot today for us to talk about. I mean, a lot of controversial opinions. Whenever win anything, Maguire and Lindelof is a 2 centre-back, simple as that. We conceded 2 to Sheffield, 2 to Istanbul. Defence is where we need to sort ASAP. And it does look as if we definitely are going to go for a right back, but I mean, there's been no links so far, no strong links to any centre backs in January. And I mean, you need to think, Ole must be thinking, wow, we need a new centre back. Bailly's always injured. Lindelof isn't amazing. Yes, it's not league winning material at centre back, but who do you guys like to bring in? I mean, I know Upamecano, I would personally like to bring in Ben White, which I've said previously, but what do you guys think? I'm going to quickly go to Adam Middleton. Thanks for obviously tuning in on YouTube.
Yeah, please share the video, guys. We appreciate all the support. Thanks for the comments. Me personally, don't get me wrong, I'd love a centre back, but I just hope the club learn from their mistakes of buying. I like it that we're scouting young talent now, but I just hope they learn from the mistakes of buying, kind of a risk centre back. We've got so many on our books, and I just hope they learn. I know last season was linked to Badiashile and players like that. They do look good potential, but I don't think that's what we need. We need someone who is not the finished article, but who is kind of mature enough to start in this team. And
I completely agree.
The thing is, I like Bailly, and I do think he can do a job, but it's like you could have the best player in the world, but if he's only fit for 5 games a season, what good is it to anyone, isn't it? Like, you'd rather have a solid 6 out of 10 who's fit every game of the season. Like, that's another thing what really annoys me about the Maguire criticism. Like, this guy plays every game, week in, week out. He is so reliable and consistent for the team, and it helps us build some chemistry and structure in the team. That's another thing what people take for granted, I think.
Yeah,
and I'm now moving on to this point as well about possibly Konate from Leipzig, and they are quite a hard team to obviously get players from, and in January you pay above the usual price tag for players, and I think Ben White would be my pick because he's Premier League proven. He's done really well for Brighton, good on the ball, and he's commanding centre back. Kind of suits Maguire's style. I think Lindelof's completely different, and Bailly doesn't know what game he's going to come into. He could be taken off in a stretcher. He could have a wonder game, or he could handball it in the box. Literally anything could happen. He's just kind of clueless, I think.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with both of you, and I think regardless of obviously we're very upset with the result today, and like, obviously there has been issues with the defense and the attack, and as I said, I do think the defense, particularly right back and another centre back, is the main concern, and what does need improving in the January transfer window, but. I don't want United to rush into this and just panic buy some random centre back from the French league because they're cheap and they look young and promising or whatever. Have someone that's been on your shortlist for a while, like Upamecano. That he's not going to be the finished product. I think he's 21 or 22 years old. He is a young centre back. He does have some rashness in him, but you do know when you sign him for maybe 50, 60 million pounds, you know that when he comes in, or Ben White or Koundé from Sevilla or Canate, when they come in, they're going to make an impact straight away, and they're going to secure the defense, because obviously if you get someone that complements Maguire, you are going to secure up that defense. You get some competition for Wan-Bissaka to make him start improving and make him realize that he can actually get dropped for this team and to reduce any like complacency issues. And I think if United can do that, they can right the wrongs of results tonight like this, because as we have said, tonight was disappointing. It's our fourth semi-final loss, but at the end of the day, we have been on a terrific run recently, and I do think if Solskjaer on the board now realise, okay, when we play these teams, we do lack a bit of control and a bit of like support from the back. If they go and solve these issues, I genuinely think we can rectify these kind of issues and these kind of results and get back to a couple of weeks ago where we or where we are now still in the league. We're still second joint points on Liverpool with a game in hand, obviously Burnley, and obviously we do have Watford coming up on the weekend, which we will be doing a match review show for us. Obviously make sure you turn your notifications on for that, but obviously we've got after this week we've got the midweek game of Burnley, which will be absolutely crucial for Solskjaer and the boys to pick up another 3 points and make an advancement on Liverpool. And because I want the players to show reaction in these next two games as well from this result. It's a poor result, but show why you are Manchester United, and regardless of these setbacks, you never give up, and you're going to keep striving. And so that's what I want to see, and I hope obviously I'm sure you guys will agree with me on that. We need some kind of response.
I don't know what you guys think. I'm just fed up with this fan base being so fickle and just turning on the players and the manager.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Get behind the manager, please, and the players in these difficult times. United, you need to unite as a fan base and as a club with Ollie and the players, and because
I don't think everybody knows it. Ollie isn't perfect, but you got to back the guy and give him a chance and get behind the team instead of slating everyone all the time and moaning, saying he's a PE teacher and there's no tactics and Maguire's overrated, and it is laughable. It really is, because this is probably the best position we've been in since Fergie went, and
it is. It literally is.
This is the best Christmas I remember for a long time. I think last year, when we went into Christmas, was 20 points behind Liverpool. It's an absolute disaster. So we're competing, aren't we? And I know we went out in the Champions League early, but it was a hard game. We was in the same group as the finalists and the semi-finalists. Both well-established teams, and I think we held our own in there. I know we still went out, but we did all right. I think we did anyway.
No, I think we obviously still should have went for the Carabao Cup. I mean, it's still League Cup. Obviously, it's not top priority at the moment, but I mean, I think we just need to go for it, which we didn't do. We didn't execute it well enough. We were missing Cavani, who is just our best player, to be honest, at the moment. I'd say
he sets the tone, don't he?
Bruno, he's just there.
Him and Bruno both set the tone.
Press.
And I just want to know, guys, just before we log off for this, and obviously Watford, I mean, there's not much to say about the game coming up. There's going to be a lot of rotation. I think we can all agree on that. We'll see, hopefully, some of the young guys. What do you think the score predictions will be? I want to hear United paper, but what's your score predictions for the game on Saturday?
I think we will beat Watford.
Hope so.
I'm probably going to say 3-1. I'd say. I think they're going to rough us up though. I think we'll know they're playing. I'd like to see Donny given some time. I really would. I'd like to see Twanzebe as well. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, some young guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
Greenwood. I thought Greenwood looked sharp tonight when he come on. I know
Yeah.
he had a couple of shots that got blocked, but I thought he looked good.
Yeah. So Noah, what would you say? What do you think the score will be in the game against Watford?
Yeah, so I think I do think United will win. I do think, obviously, as United people said, it won't be easy. Watford will come to Old Trafford, especially after a result like this, thinking that they can get at us. They have got some great players, like Ismail Assar, and they've got a great goalkeeper. They've got some tricky players for sure. But I think
Deeney. That's what I mean. Deeney's going to let the defenders know he's there.
Mhm,
He is.
yeah.
I know he is what he is, but he isn't going to if he gets a chance, he'll score.
Yeah. Yes. So my prediction was actually the same, 3-1. But regarding just quickly the team, I would love to see Donny play in Bruno's position. I'd love to see Greenwood up top. I'd love to see Palestri at right wing, because I think he does deserve a chance. He's been absolutely tearing it up for the United academy, and
Yeah, I'd be
playing,
great.
really developing his career and his technical game in particular. And I think he does deserve a chance to show Ollie what he's got. I'd love to see Twanzebe given a chance, Dean Henderson to rectify tonight. I mean, I don't think he was terrible tonight, but obviously conceding 2 goals is not great for any goalkeeper. So a confidence boost for him against Watford would be great. Maybe, yeah, and mainly just rest to the big players. I don't even want to see the likes of Bruno, Rashford, Paul Pogba, or Luke Shaw. I don't want to see any of these players even travel to Old Trafford. I don't. Literally just give them the weekend off. And just say come back strong. When we go to Turf Moor on Tuesday or Wednesday, I forget the date of when the game is.
Yeah, that's a must-win game, and I mean, obviously, hopefully, we'll be sitting here next Tuesday with Ahmed or Cam, your usual host. I mean, I'm here to fill in. Hopefully, done an okay job, and hopefully, the game against Watford we'll be here for the review as usual, as we always are.
Before we sign off,
Breaking down the game.
keep the optimism, because we are doing good in the league this year. We really are. We've got a game in hand. Hopefully, we can grab the 3. Even if we get a draw, I know it's not a fantastic result, but we still go clear at the top. So I don't think, if anyone said at the start of the season you're not going to win the Carabao, but in January you're going to be top of the league, I think we would have snapped off everyone's hands.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree with that. Look, we've had a setback. We got knocked out the Champions League. We've had a setback. We've lost another semi-final, but there are still so many positives to take from this season. So just please get behind the team, get behind Ollie and the players, and let's just hope they can react with good performances on the weekend against Watford with some rotational players, and hopefully the likes of Donny and Greenwood could make an impact, and obviously against Turf Moor for that massive game in the Premier League midweek.
Yeah. So that is the message: get behind the manager and get behind the players. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Noah, it was great to have you on, and to Paper,
no worries,
thanks
man.
very much.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Everyone follow, like, subscribe, please. We appreciate
we're
all
always
the
here
support,
after
and
the
we
game.
hope you. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Yep. So thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys. Take care.
Cheers, guys.